So what's an update in Modern Warfare without secret and hidden changes? As we've mentioned before, is it really an update at that point? Well, fear not, because we did have secret changes, a dozen or so of them within Season 6's update for Modern Warfare and Warzone, and today we're going to be breaking down what wasn't listed or publicized in the patch notes. That said, as we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. 1, did I miss any of these secret changes that you may have caught and we didn't list here in this video? And 2, did you like any of these items that we mentioned here today? Whatever it is, let me know in the comments. As well, if you are new to the channel, do be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare, Warzone, and of course Black Ops Cold War as we ramp up towards the beta and launch. We're on the road to 400,000 subscribers, so if you'd like to join the community, I'd love to have you. Finally, a big thank you and shout out to Deshaun, Tucker, Sam, and Brandon for showing love and using creator code ESPRESSO in the in-game store to support the channel further. If you end up using my code in the shop, tweet me a picture. I'd love to shout some of you out. Let's get into these changes. One of the first things that I noticed immediately when booting up Modern Warfare with Season 6 is there's new menu music. I'm sure that you've seen this one for yourselves, but new menu music isn't necessarily something that is out of the ordinary. We've seen it happen a few times, but this time, tonally, the track is a bit different compared to what we've seen in the past, and for that, honestly, I like it. I'm there for it. I really think this one sounds good, but that's just me personally. Next, let's talk a little bit about some quest stuff, some stuff that you can actually do and earn within the game, but hasn't really been publicized anywhere that I've seen in an official capacity. Firstly, to start out with new missions, because we have new multiplayer, Warzone, and Spec Ops missions. On the MP side of things, it's a little bit rougher to gauge because the sorting of all the missions that we've seen so far kind of all blends together. But if I'm not mistaken, we see the likes of 3 new blueprints here that you can end up earning, along with other things like calling cards and lower tier items of the like. But we end up seeing that there is one, firstly, that looks to be a PS4 exclusive called the Cold Rift. Unfortunately, that again, exclusive to PlayStation 4, but this is something that comes along as an Uzi with a blue metal finish, coming with the 8.5-inch factory mini barrel, the 5mm laser, the Forge Tac ultralight stock, and the 40-round mags, as well as the perk of frangible disabling. Another one that was added in was the Walima AK-47 variant, which tasks you with really just completing a couple of different challenges regarding specialist bonus, but this one looks incredible to me. I don't go for missions much anymore because I don't think the yields are all that much worth it, but this one looks awesome, and honestly, I may just start putting the AK-47 back into my regular play rotation of weapons just for this one. Coming with the TAC suppressor, the 8.1-inch compact barrel, the TAC laser, the skeleton stock, and the 5.45 magazine conversion. Again, I think it just looks awesome. We also see that there is another mission for the Bulwark shield variant, but that's something that may be a very niche category that players may be interested in, but one that was added in no less. On the Warzone side of things, we end up getting a couple of new introductions, again, mostly on the lesser scale in terms of calling cards as rewards and XP and stuff like that, but we did get one with the Undercover Reporter 2 challenge set that gives you, at the end, the Solar Eclipse Rytec AMR blueprint, which, again, looks really cool if you ask me. This comes along with the Rytec AMR suppressor, the FTAC 7 straight barrel, the TAC laser, the TAC wrap stock, and then the Presence of Mind perk as well. Again, pretty solid blueprint here with this. And then finally, we end up getting another challenge set in co-op, which looks to be sort of the one per season pattern that we've seen so far, in which you have the Necessary Bulwarks challenge series, which gives you the Grizzled AK-47, which again, looks pretty cool. Kudos to Infinity Ward here for giving some worthwhile rewards in the missions this time around, and I definitely think I might be going for some of these. In the same vein as missions, we also ended up getting new intel missions. This is something that went completely under the radar in terms of mentioned content with so much being introduced within Season 6, but this is something that if you're a story nerd, you absolutely will love this stuff because it starts to progress this and ramp it up to something that really looks like we're going to see something big happen. The end of this series of intel missions ends up wrapping back around to talk about that nuke that we saw in Bunker 11, and I just can't help but think that something is coming on the horizon here with this. So if you're interested in unraveling that mystery a little further and also then getting some XP as you go along, because we did just get that rank reset, not a bad idea to go for some XP with that for basically no challenge other than just simply backing out and getting into a new game each time, definitely check that out. As for some cosmetic changes and additions, we got some other cool stuff that went under the radar and unmentioned on official channels. One thing that I want to talk about firstly is that the SPR-208 actually has an interesting feature about it that some weapons we've seen in the past have, but it's always cool to see this even if it is a bug. But the weapon camo that you end up applying on the SPR-208 actually applies to the bullets as well in the magazine. And this is something you can see if you inspect that weapon, but a cool little feature that, again, kind of went unnoticed there. One thing that I've seen, and I know a couple of people have already tweeted this at me, is that the Aomi variant of the Kodachis ends up actually having tracer effects on it. a melee weapon having tracer effects is certainly interesting, but this one is a change that I don't think was intentional. Even though it looks awesome, I don't think this was meant to happen, especially because when you look at some of the things from upcoming bundles throughout Season 6, we do have an upcoming Tracer 16-bit pack, which the key art for that showcases the sort of effect that you have on these Aomi Kodachis. Personally, I think both this effect and that Tracer Pack 16-bit bundle, I think they both look phenomenal, but that bundle ends up coming along with a variant of the Kodachis, which I would imagine that's where this effect was supposed to be, but it kind of just glitched by extension and maybe fixed here in the coming days. But for now, it's definitely a really cool feature that was changed maybe inadvertently. Another change that was not ever mentioned anywhere is that the Armory tab actually got an adjustment to how it showcases bundles and items you can see for each weapon. Now, to me, I think this is both cool and not so cool at the same time. Previously, this worked in the sense that if you looked at a weapon in the Armory, if there was a bundle available for that weapon in the shop at that point, you'd see it also in the bottom of the Armory tab. But right now, that applies to quite literally any bundle that we've ever seen within Modern Warfare that you do not own. If there's a specific bundle that you wanted or a specific camo, you can now go get it. And where this is kind of a positive is that that's happened to me kind of a few times where, let's say a season starts and I'm like, oh, that's actually a really cool skin. I think I'll pick that up when I get on the game next time or tomorrow. And then when I get back, it's not there. So oftentimes that'll go away and it won't be there for another long while. So this will avoid that happening to you. But at the same time, it could be something that could start to clutter up the Armory, and I guess depending upon who you ask, it might be a little bit too intrusive, I guess, for lack of a better term, advertising or marketing of the MTX, and the clutter of these new bundles will kind of take away from what you've completed and accomplished, and instead kind of showcase a whole lot of what you don't have. One thing to additionally note, though, with this is that this also is currently only for past items. You can't see items that have yet to be released, but will be released later on throughout the season, which is understandable, but from the stuff that's been pulled from the game files, there's some absolute heat coming to the shop this season. So I personally would take a workaround if there was one, but that was a change as well. One that I'm impartial on, I rarely go into the Armory tab, but I see both perceptions of how this may be seen. Next, jumping over to some gameplay things here at this, we see that there's actually new mastery challenges added into the game. For both multiplayer and Warzone, we got a couple of different challenges introduced within Season 6. Firstly, on the multiplayer side of things, we ended up getting the Finger Flicker Challenge, which tasks you with getting 4 kills with throwing knives in under 30 seconds. The Mobile Frenzy Challenge, which tasks you with getting 6 kills with a single Wheelson or IAV called in from a kill streak. The Adroit Gunslinger, which tasks you with getting a headshot from long shot distances with 5 different weapon classes in a single match. And then on the Warzone side of things, we have the Travelogue, which tasks you with in a single match of Battle Royale trios or quads, getting kills in 10 or more named regions across your whole team. The Never Say Die Challenge, which tasks you with getting a win in trios or quads, despite accumulating at least 7 total Gulag trips and deaths across your team. And finally, the Untouchable Challenge, which tasks you with getting a win in a BR trios or quads match without you or your teammates dying or being sent to the Gulag. So quite a few things to keep you busy if you're interested in those mastery challenges. For some gameplay specific stuff though, we saw a slight adjustment to stopping power, and at least in Warzone. This could be something that happens in MP as well, but I play Warzone and noticed this way more in Warzone. But stopping power, whenever you would load it, it would actually just basically lose that magazine that you had already loaded, except now it'll finally put rounds back into your ammo reserve instead of just simply wasting those. There also was an adjustment to Hardpoint and a change there where score for holding the Hardpoint is now something that is credited to the player, which personally I think is great. I know a couple of days ago we joked about playing the objective when talking about kill streak confirmed, but with traditional Hardpoint now, there's now an added incentive to play the objective. Now, as of how much of a change this will actually make, well, your guess is as good as mine, because it's 15 points, which is a minimal increase, and unless you're trying to farm XP or using point men, which I don't really see a lot of people doing, it doesn't seem to really make that much of a difference, but it is a change no less. Finally, rounding out the video of changes, I want to talk about some things that deal with audio. Firstly, one that a lot of people have tweeted me about and mentioned in the comments deals with the Warzone eerie audio. Out by a campsite, or I guess a sort of campfire, on the hills near the bunker to the east of Verdansk Stadium, there's a very eerie audio cue that will play once you go over this specific area. And that's something that right now can be thrown into the likes of, say, the wolf audio that we've heard in the background as as well with ambient noise, the creaking at dams, stuff like that may amount to nothing, may just be ambient noise and a sort of slight Easter egg here with this, but also could be something that hints towards some of the upcoming Halloween stuff that we see within Warzone as well, which we don't know too much about just yet, but we will in time. The final thing talking about audio though is that it seems like some of the environmental audio by, again, what I would imagine accident was something that was cranked up to almost 11. I have all of my audio settings to a point where I can totally recognize a change, and it was to the point where I couldn't hear myself think in some regards. Helicopters, VTOLs, anything aerial, it was all incredibly loud. Same thing with the war tracks for vehicles. Even if you have your music turned all the way down, you'll still hear it incredibly loud. Hopefully there's a fix coming for that, as there was as of recently with the crashing issue that should be resolved by now, but that's stuff that was changed as well, again, probably inadvertently. That's where we're going to wrap it up. That is, again, a dozen or so secret changes within Modern Warfare's Season 6 and Warzone Season 6's update. So let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of this? Like some of these changes, dislike some of these changes, whatever it is, feel free to let me know. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare, Warzone, and Black Ops Cold War as we round into the weekends coming up here with the beta and the full launch in a little bit of time. But said, if you also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. But I can live on both those, so if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.